Centurion fails to achieve results, I send Linnaeus to make things right. His first step is to beat the failed commander to death in front of his assembled troops. Then he orders the ritual of decimatio.
Yes, decimation. Hello, log. I am using several mods, yeah. I think particularly you should be seeing the texture mod. Texture mod. It was 4 gigs, or was it 8 gigs worth of new files. That should be making things look prettier. What is decimation?
It means decimation. But in ancient Rome, the word had a very specific meaning. A punishment for cowardice. The legionaries are lined up in ranks. Every 10th man steps forward and is beaten to death by his brothers. It instills a certain robust obedience.
So, Linnaeus will lead the assault on Hurdam?
Yes. This time my legionaries will be more frightened of the commander behind them than the enemy before them. There will be no failure this time, no retreat, no years of gathering slaves and resources for another assault. With Linnaeus to drive the legion forward, the dam will be taken. It will be our bridgehead across the Colorado.
Why did the Legion lose the first battle?
It's not going to happen again. That's all I have to say about it.
Ooh, don't get a little defensive. I've heard the commander of the first battle called the bear and the man.
And I've heard it's a bad idea to tempt the wrath of Caesar.
Ooh.
Change the subject.
Holy shit. This guy's a little touchy.
What else?
What do you think of the NCR?
Do you want my opinion as a former citizen or future conqueror? Actually, my opinion's the same either way. As a young man, I was taught to venerate President Tandy of Shady Sands, the founding mother of the new California Republic. Did you know her presidency lasted 52 years? And that her father, Aradesh, was the Republic's first president? Does that sound like a democracy to you? Or a hereditary dictatorship?
Yeah, of course. President Tandy. That was a companion. Was it a companion in some Fallout? She appeared in a Fallout, I'm pretty sure of that. 52 years, holy crap. President Tandy was voted into office each time.
Because the council didn't dare oppose her. She was too popular. She had the people's love. So things ran smoothly, more or less. And as soon as she was gone, as soon as there really could be democracy, what happened then? Ever since losing its queen, the NCR has been weaker, more diffuse. Democracy has been its weakness, not its strength.
How is the NCR weak and soft?
Greed runs rampant. The government is corrupt, accepting bribes from Brahmin barons and landowners to the detriment of citizens. The NCR is a loose conglomerate of individuals looking out for themselves. It's lost virtue. No one cares about the collective, the greater good. It's not built to last. I'm just hastening the inevitable.
But surely the NCR is still a powerful foe.
Of course. The most powerful my legion has faced. Also the first to which I am ideologically opposed. Until now, every tribe I've conquered has been so backwards and stunted, enslavement has been a gift bestowed upon them. My conquest of the Mojave will be a glorious triumph, marking the transition of the Legion from a basically nomadic tribe to a genuine empire. Just as my namesake campaigned in Gaul before he crossed the Rubicon, so have I campaigned and will cross the Colorado.
Aha! Interesting. What do you know at Mr. House?
I know he's a coward, hiding behind an army of robots ensconced in that tower of his like a wizard in one of those Grognak comic books. Some say he's a man, others a machine. I don't care. He's in the way.
Okay.
What else did you want to know?
What role will regional powers play in the conflict ahead?
I've analyzed the region's tribe to determine how they might be useful. I may tell you more at a later time, if it suits me. What?
How did you rise to power?
Ironically, I was born a profligate myself, a citizen of the NCR. My family lived not far from the Great Boneyard. After raiders killed my father, my mother sought the followers' protection. I was 2 years old. She found work at their library, cooking and cleaning. I learned how to read, and soon I was taking courses, free of charge.
You were a follower of the apocalypse. Yeah, this is something we know. But weren't they different? Because the Orange Man said that Caesar actually came from New Canaan, and he was a priest? No, I don't know, something from New Canaan. You were a follower.
Oh yes, raised in that tradition. And the teaching stuck. I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the waste. I may have taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
What's changed you from a follower to a leader?
When I was 20, the followers sent me east to Grand Canyon. It was my first expedition. Just me and a physician named Calhoun. As an anthropologist and linguist, my assignment was to learn the dialects of the Grand Canyon tribes. What a fucking waste of time.
Why would learning dialects be a waste of time? Well, because they were tribals. Better to teach them a single language than to learn 200 languages. Whatever.
If you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to talk like backward savages, you're a follower of the apocalypse. Or an idiot. Anyway, we met up with a Mormon missionary who already knew a bunch of dialects. Joshua Graham. He was supposed to teach me. But before that went too far, the Blackfoot tribe captured us to hold us for ransom. They were a backward bunch. But the real problem was, they didn't know how to fight.
So he was not from New Canaan, he just made up with people from New Canaan. Interesting. What was wrong with the Blackfoot?
The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes, each just as pissant as they were. But outnumbered like that, they weren't going to last long. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. So over Calhoun's objections, I decided to take certain steps.
Such as?
I taught them how to use the guns they already had, how to strip and clean them, how to breathe when pulling a trigger, how to reload ammunition. They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So I taught them how to make explosives and started drilling them on small unit tactics. If there's anything I learned as a follower of the apocalypse, it's that there's a lot of good information in old books.
What happened after you trained the Blackfoot? But yeah, I thought Caesar was from New Canaan. That's what I was talking about. Not from California. Yeah, what happened?
Divide et impera. Divide and conquer. I led the Blackfoot against the Ridgers, their weakest enemy. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man, woman, and child killed. When next we surrounded the Kaibabs, and they likewise refused, I took one of their envoys to the Ridgers' village and showed him the corpse piles. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little rape and pillage here, a little ransoming there. I showed them total warfare. Like I said, there's a lot you can learn from old books.
What happened to the tribes?
Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians after that. All the pissant tribes with names that should be forgotten. I knew from the start I'd need to eradicate this plague of tribal identities, replacing them with a monolithic culture, a uniform identity. So that's what I did once my confederation of tribes was large enough. I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my legion. I sent Calhoun, the follower captured with me, back west with a message that I should not be interfered with. Joshua Graham, the Mormon interpreter, stayed with me and served as my first legatus.
And since forming the Legion, all you've done is conquer other tribes. Why not? If you saw tribal identity as a problem, the logical thing would be to conquer everyone and turn them into legionnaires.
That's right. Decades of warfare, absorbing lesser tribes, gathering power, forging the dross into a vast, razor-sharp scythe. My legion's expansion has never ceased. Much of the Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my legion will have its Rome.
Interesting. Why is Caesar Legion so strange? I would say unique, particular, quirky.
I used Imperial Rome as the model for my legion precisely because it was so foreign, so alien. I'd seen what had become of the NCR's attempts to emulate the culture of pre-war America, the infighting, the corruption. Rome was a highly militarized autocracy that effectively integrated the foreign cultures it conquered. It dedicated its citizens to something higher than themselves, to the idea of Rome itself. In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world, a society that could and would survive, a society that could prevent mankind from fracturing and destroying itself in this new world by establishing a new Pax Romana.
And that's where I disagree. Because the Enclave wants to cleanse. Now I see I was mistaken. Yeah. Wants to cleanse the land from this infection of mutated humans. He wants to create a paradise for them, or as close as it can be. What does Pax Romana mean? Okay.
It means a nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, homogenous culture that obliterates the identity of every group it conquers. Long-term stability at all cost. The individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production.
I guess that doesn't extend to himself, as it usually does, with totalitarian regimes. The leadership is always special. So you will destroy the NCR because you hate its inefficiencies?
No. I'll destroy it because it's inevitable that it be destroyed. It's Hegelian dialectics, not personal animosity.
That is a lie. That is a fucking lie. He said he opposed it ideologically. Ideology is not dialectics. What are those?
How do I put this basically? It's a philosophical theory, the kind you might encounter if you took time to read some books. The fundamental premise is to envision history as a sequence of dialectical conflicts. Each dialectic begins with a proposition, a thesis, which inherently contains or creates its opposite, an antithesis. Thesis and antithesis. The conflict is inevitable, but the resolution of the conflict yields something new, a synthesis, eliminating the flaws in each, leaving behind common elements and ideas.
So what's the dialectic about you and the NCR?
The bombs wiped the slate clean. Human civilization descended to a level of ignorance that effectively set our cultural progress back to zero. The NCR has all the problems of the ancient Roman Republic: extreme bureaucracy, corruption, extensive senatorial infighting. Just as with the ancient Republic, it is natural that a military force should conquer and transform the NCR into a military dictatorship. Thesis and antithesis. The Colorado River is my Rubicon. The NCR Council will be eradicated, but the new synthesis will change the Legion as well, from a basically nomadic army to a standing military force that protects its citizens and the power of its dictator.
Well, that's a neat way to surmise lust for power. I don't know. At least the Marxist way to look at it. The dialectic makes systems collapse on itself, or on themselves, not through outside forces. It is the contradictions that cause the movement forward in history, not outside forces like him. Well, who knows, maybe it can be reconciled. But I'm very surprised the game is touching those subjects. Philosophy. Huh. What is that machine in your tent? I think I already asked this.
It's called an auto-doc. It can treat broken bones, cuts, punctures. Makes for a
I will eliminate Dr. House, Mr. House.
Good. Don't know what kind of security he has inside the Lucky 38, but if you can find a way of catching him off guard, do so.
Okay, and sadly, that will be it for today. Quite an interesting conversation. And amazingly enough, he seems intelligent, but very trusting. How is that he hasn't sent someone to check if I did destroy everything inside the vault? It's not like he needs anything special to enter it now that I open the doors. I don't have that pistol, or look, I think it's back in my hideout. Kill Mr. House. Deliver the platinum chip. I think I'm going to return to the Jessamine next. I think or do I have it here? Maria. No, I think it's back in... Yeah, I do have it. I took it from Benny, I think. Why? What makes it special? I did see it has a very high DPS,
in the arena.
but other than that, seem nothing to lose your sleep over. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow. We go and talk to a friendly yes man and get more instructions and follow Benny's master plan to take over the Mojave. Until then, long live the Enclave.